if we need to be eligible to like be in a long-term commitment with a woman, what's the connection that's needed? I mean, we can't use love anymore because a man could put on a mask and love bomb. I never even heard of the term love bombing until like last month. So there's actually men out there who are acting like they love you just to get it in. So it's authentic love, whatever that may be, because a lot of men may not understand that. Is this also an attribute for eligibility in today's, pursuing a commitment world?
Mm. So I think that we have to keep in mind the context.
Yeah.
Again, we're in a shifting time, and as is exemplified in the star space, right? All the stars who have been married for however long are divorcing. Are So much
Yeah.
is being shared about the intimate details or the internal details of long-term committed relationships that were supposed to serve as the template for the greater society. Obviously we know about Will and Jada. Uh, you know, uh, Megan Good's situation, right?
Oh yeah.
Marrying you can't even marry a pastor now and stay in a marriage with in that situation. Well, I
That was
think
a shocker too. That was a shocker.
I
Go
mean,
ahead,
come on,
man.
who didn't dig Megan Good, coming up? Let's be clear.
Hmm.
All of these people that you think that it would just be easy, it would just be a slam dunk for someone to admire who they are, have a deep, profound relationship with them, their artistic nature, become ingratiated with their family, understand, their cultural needs and desires or whatever. So marriage should be a no-brainer. However, what this current climate is revealing is that a lot of people have been married or involved in marriages of convenience, who have been
Mm.
involved in transactional relationships.
Hmm.
A lot of things are being exposed, especially when you have like a transfer of wealth. Because when we look at people who desire a certain lifestyle, everything comes at a cost. And people feel, and I'm saying feel, I'm using that word feel, that uh, settling or becoming committed to one person in this modern age of point and click, DMs, people getting flued out, and all these things, all these quote unquote opportunities to live this,
Hmm.
baller lifestyle, or exciting or exotic or fresh and different and new lifestyle. Why would you settle? Why would you compromise? Why would you want to be locked down with one person? So people are trying to reconcile what that means to them personally, what that means to the person that they're with now, and how that's supposed to look like going forward. So I would say that right now, the institution of marriage in this world, in the Western society, is currently in a state of flux. There's this big sort of readjustment. And
Hmm.
until people really come to grips with who they are, who their tribe is, what their values are,
Mm.
and why they what the vehicle of a committed relationship or ultimately a marriage can and will provide to the bigger picture, what that looks like for them and how that will work for them. Not only a 3-year contract, 5-year contract, 10-year. And I've said this on my Patreon. I think that the future of marriage is going to be like they're going to put marriage contracts on the blockchain, right? You're going to have this expiring contract that you'll need to renew
Mm.
every certain amount of
I could
years,
see
be it
that.
3 years, 5 years, or 10 years.
I wonder why that hasn't happened now. That's funny.
I just gave away $1 billion idea, but in any case, I'm serious. I mean,
Yeah.
clearly it's a contract, but people are starting to remove the romanticized or the fanciful element from the marriage contract, and it's
Mm-hmm.
strictly that contract. If I
Yeah.
can pull up an app and immediately have access to a variety of people all around the world, literally globally, and I could,
Mm-hmm.
and the only thing that limits me is time, distance, and opportunity.
Yeah.
Me committing to one person who may or may not be well adjusted, may or may not have experienced a healing from trauma, may or may not
Mm.
be in a space of contentment to whereas they want the ultimate benefit from a relationship, which is growth, may or may not, come from a family that will keep, will support this bond and pour into this relationship. All of those factors dwindle down, eligibility on both sides. So now everything is just a fraction. Everybody got
Mm.
rosters, but no, most people aren't willing to admit that, and that's why
Yeah,
I
that's
think that
true.
that space is in the state that it is right now. People are trying to reconcile and just come to some type of floor, some
Mm-hmm.
type of orientation, trying to get their bearings in this modern reality.
So,
The new one I ran into was a dictation.
Mm.
That was the new
mm.
one. I was just like, whoa, hold up, because I'm
Well,
part of
they've
the
been doing that though.
yeah, I'm part of the Michael Baisden group on Facebook, and boy, them women they be wilding out with the posts and everything, and that was one of them. I'm like, see, and
Oh.
this is what's interesting because we have these women, who
Mm-hmm.
are we'll just say, very sexually friendly. They don't have or hang out with women who are prudish. They don't. So when we
Mm-hmm.
talk about stuff like this, and the women are just like, "No, that don't happen." No, women are not like that. It's like you guys really don't talk to other women who are free spirits or who get down like that, do you?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say yes, they do. They're just holding up the facade of a
Oh
monogamous
yeah.
culture. But it all goes back to the societal and cultural and global shift that's happening. A lot of groups are resisting the shift that's happening. A lot of groups are trying to shore up the old school or the traditional way of thinking, and because it has everything that the current uh, societal structure needs to continue to exist. Our current society is based on monogamy. Our current society is a monotheistic society. No matter how much the First Amendment says, freedom of religion or whatever. No, no. It's all based on an old structure or an antiquated structure, and that's why those women will defend, the quote unquote prudish, 5 dates, what's your intention language,
Mm-hmm.
because they haven't necessarily developed the new linguistic skills of the other side of this
You know,
ship.
people talk about the Matrix, red pill. I'll
Yeah.
say when I've said with that, I've told people, I've said red pill. I'm Zion. We go way beyond it. We given the tools. We can even go deeper than what we've gone publicly. Because in T Taw, I tell you privately, we went even deeper. We have the tools. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to listen, or they get just bits of it and try to apply. But you gotta get the whole thing. Like when I talk body game, there's a deeper primal thing right there. And if you really pay attention out here, to who women really going crazy over and really has influencing even the social atmosphere, you'd be like, oh, wait, let me hit the gym. That's how deep it is. All of this stuff is connected. And people got to understand that. And we providing the tools, and we in order to people complaining about the problems, but then we got to look at it deeper. Like cousin T Taw said, what I present in my book, what he present with the female hierarchy, which I'd never forget at the first self improvement summit when we were at the after party. We at a club. He's just pointing out stuff. He's like, boom, boom, boom. Even pointed out somebody I had observed before he got there, and he picked out the same thing I picked out. So
Mm.
it's and we see in all this the octane model with Master Teacher BGS. That's a major breakthrough, a
Yeah.
major breakthrough because if you know the different classes and who they're going to interact with, and as a man, if you know which classes that are going to interact with you, like I said publicly, people don't know my educational background, so when I'm out and about, I look like construction worker, blue collar worker. Those working class women always looking like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
The more professional ones, they might just look and keep going until they hear me talk, and then they respond. But
Mhm.
once you know that, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute. I understand which women are going to be receptive, which ones aren't. In fact, women need to understand that you have a lot of women, they want to, they talk about they want to get a high value man or something, but he might be at a different class level. He might not want to deal with them. Men at a higher class level, they actually, unless it's just for some pure fun, they usually avoid women of a lower class. And I mean, it
Mm.
is what it is. I mean, but everybody has to understand these factors. We have to understand how people interact, how men interact with each other. Like one problem, I talk about select and non-select, but really there's little contact between the two. So that's why you'll have men arguing. You have select men, they say, well, this happened and this happened, and non-select men, nah, that couldn't happen. You must be lying and stuff.
There is a 100 octane that is reaching her peak and decline when she's transitioning out of the 100 octane space. So for those who are not familiar with what a 100 octane is, that's the sugar baby. That's the flued out chick. That's the IG model. That's the woman who is a part of the social scene because of her beauty and her feminine influence.
She's
Once
the
she
fantasy.
the fantasy girl. Once she transitions out of that space, then she goes back to her class. So
Mm,
when you
Mm.
look at the women who have come before the B renters, for example, you look at Superhead, okay? Once she was, done with the video vixen type of guys with the Jay-Z's, with the Shaquille O'Neal, whatever, who she go? She
Mhm.
went to Eddie Winslow. Okay? So
mm-hmm,
that speaks to where she started. Mark the words right here first. And this came up in the Kevin Samuels interview. I don't know if he's going to address it because he said he's going to do a recap of that. But she mentioned the town that she was from. I forget the exact name, Ocean
Yeah, it was
something,
like Bob's
Mississippi.
Road, Mississippi. Yeah.
Something Bob's Road. Fucking hilarious. If you were to Google that town that she mentioned that she came from and look at the social makeup of those people, if there's working class, if it's, you know what I'm saying, like 80, 89 octane, if it's sort of like teachers, teachers, medical professionals,
Hmm.
first responders or whatever, that is the type of guy that she's going to align herself with and ultimately get with once she hits her 30s, which is next year. Mark my words. We said it here first. That is because after the 100 octane is transitioning from that space, she's no longer able to be flued out. She's no longer able to get
mm-hmm,
the first round draft pick before he's even out of college. She inevitably reverts back to where she started because that
mm-hmm,
is where her imprint is. That is
mm-hmm.
where she was molded. That is where she feels most comfortable. That is the type of lifestyle that she feels is real and authentic. And that's what
Yeah,
she knows. That's what she's been programmed to accept. So whoever remembers the town that she mentioned, go ahead and Google that. Google, the
yeah.
type of people. Is it a factory town? Is it a college town or whatever? That is where she will return. The type of man that comes from that space or who can present himself as authentically of that ilk or that social class, that is the type of guy that she's going to go for. Even though he will need to be on the select side. Let's be clear. He's going to need to be a select carpenter. He's going to need to be a select plumber, a select electrician.
Yeah.
So, but that's where women that come from the 100 octane strata, the 92 climber strata, that is ultimately where they land because that is familiar. That is like home. That is
Mm-hmm.
where their imprint was molded first.
Thing when you get those IG models, when you get those women at that level, they have a shelf life. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. They have a shelf life. So you ain't gonna see any. Well, you might have a rarity, like a rare person winning the lottery or something who might still be at that level at the age of 50 or something. But for the most part, they're gonna go back to wherever their imprint was, which is the first type of men that they were dealing with. Because they can't maintain it. Because of course, men at that level who are going to deal with a 100 octane, these money men, masters of the universe, you know, it's like the only way they might deal with that woman long term, it had to be some extraordinary connection, children, and all of that. And of course, we see what's happening with a lot of these celebrity couples. So
We're not clowning anybody on the block. I mean, no offense to nobody, but just want to make the point. What makes that man eligible now?
Being himself,
Oh,
embracing who he truly is. And like I
mm-hmm.
said, a plumber, electrician, carpenter, bricklayer, those are very noble
Yeah,
professions.
those are good guys.
Those are crafts. Those are
Mm-hmm.
craftsmen. Those are literally the men who terraform the world, that physically impose their will on the natural world so that we have the ability to exist in this particular civilization. So they're a key and critical component of any type of lifestyle, be it the moderate, two family, split level, whatever home, ranch style, all the way up to the penthouse skyscraper building. You still have an HVAC guy that comes in and services that.
Seriously, because that's all you can be, who you are. Don't worry about being someone else. I remember I had somebody in a comment saying, yeah, they were trying to talk like me and walk like me. I said, no, stop that now. Be you. You can't be me. A woman needs to appreciate you for who you are, because one of the worst things is when a woman find out that you lied to her at that fundamental level. Don't present that mask. Show who you are. And that way, if she's not compatible with you, you find out right away. But the ones who are compatible with you, they see who you really are. They feeling who you really are. That's the most powerful thing. Don't try to be who you're not. If the builders, the blue collar guys, salt of the earth guys decide, you know what, we're going on strike, boom, this stuff will fall. This stuff will fall. All the professionals, yeah, it's great what they doing. Yeah, they making money. But if they decide to go on strike, people might not notice. But if people stop fixing the streets, they stop coming in and fixing those pipes, oh yeah, we're going to see that right away. That's why I don't like it when anybody disrespect blue collar guys. I'm not a blue collar guy. I say I look like one. I'm not though. But that's why I have the utmost respect for them. And any guys out there, be you. That's the important thing. Be you.